Gender is something you're doing actively all the time.
Who is Deya Scott?
Deya Scott is me mostly. I get asked this a lot, but I never know what to say. I am transgender. It feels too official when I say the full thing out loud. But like, oh, I'm trans. And like, I do present openly as like woman. Like that's how I operate professionally. I'm kind of, I feel, emotional, social person. I don't know if emotional is the right word, but like, I don't know. I like people a lot, and I think that's why I'm probably studying psychology. Why society has like a stronger reaction to trans women, like like the reason why you wear like why you wear like certain T-shirts, or being like, oh, I can't wear a skirt, I'm a man, and you have to think about it. You're like, why though? And you're like, oh, but it would look weird. Why would it look weird? Because that's the society you live in, and I'm not even saying that's wrong. I mean, I think it is, but I think like that's just the reality of things, that we can see gender is not entirely biological.
Welcome back to the podcast. This is the 8th episode of Lib. On this platform, every story counts, every voice matters. Remember to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like and share the video. I'm your host, Roosevelt Bonker. What is the correct definition of gender? Do we understand transgender people, gender identity and gender expression? In this episode, we're going to have a nice conversation with a wonderful guest. She is going to help us answer some of those questions. Without further ado, let's welcome our guest today, Deya Scott. Welcome.
Hi there.
Alright, first thing first, who is Deya Scott?
Well, Deya Scott is me mostly. I get asked this a lot, but I never know what to say. But it's not a thing that I think is the most important to me, to have that like completely binary breakdown. But yeah, I would say as who I am.
Okay. Oh, nice. Nice. For a lot of people, gender is categorized in two type, like male and female, which is a mistake, because basically it's like they say gender is genitalia. Can you do the difference between the two for us?
It would be the difference between gender and sex, and that's like been a thing that like has existed throughout history, and that we also can see just by looking at it. I mean, like looking in past cultures, there has been the existence of third genders or more, either equaling like a mix of the two, or specifically referring to people transitioning. I think that's also a thing people think about. They're like, trans people didn't exist until like 10 years ago, and it's like, no, they weren't in the news until 10 years ago, and that's why you think they exist now. You look through even kind of cultural practices to this day. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I saw a poster from the 50s a while ago that was talking about like how to smoke a cigarette like a lady. And it was like doing all the things like you don't want to appear too masculine, like you don't want to have your legs too wide open, and like that's showing you right there like that, like, okay, so gender is clearly not like just biological, because we as a society feel a need to prove our gender.
As a matter of fact, there's American researcher, her name is Judith Butler. She came like 20 or 30 years ago with a concept that gender is performative. Do you agree with that? I mean, yeah,
I would. Actually, I've read a good bit of Judith Butler's works and stuff. But yeah, it's like I said before, it's an active performance. It's something you're doing, and I think people think that it being a performance makes it fake when it's not, because it's like, just because it's not something you can physically touch doesn't mean it's not real, because that's how the world works,
Yeah.
Butler. So have you read Judith Butler?
I didn't really read her books, but I kind of get into it because of my studies. I took a class on gender, so part of my research was performative aspect of gender. So I kind of explore a little bit, about it. But to tell us more.
I would say like, and it gets complex to a point where like a lot of people are being like, oh, they're inventing a bunch of new genders, and I'm like, I don't think anyone's inventing gender.
Yeah.
I think it's in the way of when people perform gender, it just is going to look different because people are different. And I think it's honestly because of people being very married to this binary that it's like, no, we have to create a categorization for every single kind of gender. I'm like, hey, maybe sometimes we don't have to know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just think that maybe people care a little bit too much. But honestly, that's what I find interesting, is why do people really care about gender being categorized? And if I can kind of run with the question a little bit here, I think it's because, I mean, like, identity is important, and like, of course, the trans person, I know that, but like, it's important to everyone, and that, like, I guess for some people, it can almost feel like their identity is being encroached on, and I think that's particularly why society has like a stronger reaction to trans women, because they like, women have gone through years and years of oppression, obviously, right? Still are.
Yeah.
And so like, I guess I can see that it can feel as if men are encroaching on your gender almost. But it, to me, it does feel like a little bit like kind of like, it's like gender isn't something you have to keep away. I think is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, you did something that caught my attention. You talk about identity, and when we talk about gender, so generally, identity is part of it. So, do you think identity is something that we can turn on or turn off?
Yeah, and like we know that.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, of course. No, yeah. Like, if you, even if you don't know anything about psychology, I feel like we know that we have personas that we have in different places.
Yeah.
I act like this at work. That's not how
exactly.
I act with my family, right? And like, as much as you might say, oh, I'm 100% authentic, 100% real. Yeah, you are authentic. But even authentic people have different performances in different places.
Yeah.
And like, this is also like, I think people treat gender very sacredly, which I think is like, it's cool if you want to. If you really like want to identify that. I think when I first started transitioning, I also kind of treated it with like this like, have to be woman, have to do all these woman things.
Okay.
And to be honest, like, I hated it. A lot of it. I don't really like a lot of feminine stuff.
Okay.
But I was like, I still feel like a woman. And then in my brain, it's like, obviously, you don't have to be feminine to be a woman, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, when did you start feeling that you are in the wrong body?
That's an interesting question, because it has multiple answers. I would say the first inkling I got was when I was like 6, and I was like, I didn't think I'm in the wrong body. I was like, there seems to be a distinction between boys and girls that is very much getting put on me by adults. It is not like when I hang out with girls and my friends with boys and girls, no one cares. They're like, the most they'll be like, you're a girl, so you can't do this, and the girl's like, no, and it's like, well, all right. like we're 6, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But I was like, adults would, they'd be like, oh, well, you're a boy, so you do this, blah blah blah, or girls do this, and I was just like, that feels weird to me. But that, like, I grew up holding on to that, but that didn't make me think trans. I was just like, I really care about gender and like kind of equality in that sense, right? And I do. And I think that honestly, being trans has given me a better perspective on it. It wasn't until I was about 12 where I was like, oh, there is something wrong. Like, I kept having inklings of like, things feel weird, but maybe it's just me, blah, blah, blah. But 12, I was like, something feels wrong. And it wasn't until I was about, I think, maybe 14, 15, where I had a friend who was trans, who we were just talking once. And I was being like, wow, all these things you're describing sound exactly like me. And then I put 2 and 2 together pretty fast.
Yeah. So, can we say that gender is who you feel you are or who you decide to be, in a sense?
I don't know. I think...
because like you said, like society make a lot of rules and they expect us to follow those rules, but those rules are not applied to who we are sometimes or who we want to be. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, there's a type of clothing for girls, and you did mention that earlier, and there's a type of clothing for boys, but who decide that
exactly
girl cannot wear boys?
And the thing is that sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, but we've seen throughout history that it switches. Like it's actually, this is a little history fact. The Persian military, they used to wear heels because it would better click on stirrups of their horses. But there was a big change around the 18th and 19th century.
Okay.
I don't know if this is still applying to Persia. But like, where there was a big trade of aesthetics versus utility. Like, where men were like, oh, I want my clothes to be useful, not just look good anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then we just see that switch of like going to this like more stuff, and also like a lot of clothing is kind of based around some of this misogynistic stuff, but I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, I mean, like, we know it's malleable because it has changed, and it like skinny jeans. I don't have to even explain skinny jeans.
Yeah. So going back to those rules we were talking about, so also like society use those rules to discriminate people. So do you feel, as a woman, as a trans, do you feel like sometimes those discrimination society kind of used them against you?
Yeah.
Because of your choice of gender, or?
Well, actually, I wanted to go back to also the question that you said before as well. Of being like, is it how you feel or is it a choice? And this is something that I've thought about a lot. I'm going to answer your next question as well.
Okay.
But I was always like, I always had this thing of like, okay, I did have an internal feeling of gender though. Like, as much as I can say, oh, it's, performance, whatever, I knew something was wrong.
Okay.
So that means that there is some kind of internal sense.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that makes me think, okay, so it's like, it's not what you choose because, like, I didn't make a choice.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, okay, I
right.
got it.
And when I say gender is how you feel, I mean, like, sure, I guess. I feel like that's the fastest way to say it. I think, like, there's definitely a more specified way, but I think, why can't gender be a choice? Like, why is it so important that it's not? And then you going forward to feeling like, so you're like asking, have I felt like discrimination that's been shot towards like women has been also towards me? I mean, like, yeah. But sometimes it can feel like it's coming from multiple angles because especially a lot of people will be like, oh, like men, like just dressing up as women but like using like their male privilege to do so and so. I need you to understand that as a trans woman, you do not get male privilege. You do not. Because I don't know, I guess to give examples, I've lost jobs, I have lost friends, I have lost family. Because
I was gonna ask you about that. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, for the jobs part, it was like it wasn't until it was at the second or third time I was at a new job and I was like, I feel like, actually no, I remember what happened. I was working at this place where they didn't get all my information until about 2 weeks after I was working there. First 2 weeks, everything's great, I'm like meeting all new coworkers, having a great time. 2 weeks, they're like, oh, your legal name, blah blah blah. Suddenly, why do all my managers hate me?
Really?
Yes, and it's genuinely, it sounds ridiculous. It is that fast. And to be fair, that's when I was working in Milford, so like that's a little bit more of like a. I don't know if Milford's conservative. It felt like conservative.
Yeah.
But I mean, as conservative as you can get up here in the north.
Yeah.
But like no, I mean like yeah, the job like straight up just lost them because of that. I mean friends less so because a lot of times like if I was gonna lose a friend to being trans, it didn't feel like I was losing a friend. It more felt like I was realizing that somebody was not good to be with.
Yeah.
Because even if I wasn't trans, like if you don't like trans people, I think you're weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think like I'm like it's like oh like you changed your gender to feel happier. Okay. And family, I mean that's the most obvious part. I'm Jamaican, and it's like I was taking an Uber once and I was talking to
the driver,
and he was Jamaican. He was being like, how did your parents take any of this? And I was like, they didn't take any of it. I said it was happening, and then it happened. And then, yeah, so, like, the relationship's obviously fraught, but, I have to choose myself. Because, like, if I don't choose myself, what am I going to do?
Yeah. So, did your parents was very supportive when you were transitioning?
No, not at all. I mean, it took a while for my mom to, like, notice. Like, it kept building up things. She'd be like, wow, your skin is really smooth. Or be like, wow, you seem like a lot more active, you know, happier.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, because, I like wear, like, a lot of, like, you know, I think, like, sports bras and, like, stuff to, like, flatten stuff. Especially back then. Less so now, but, you know. It wasn't until one day she was like, hey. And then, yeah. And it was, I mean, like, I swear to God, like, a year and a half straight of just every time I saw her dirty looks, or long speeches, and even now, like, she didn't, like, get better about it. It's more that, you see, I'm not changing my mind, and so we're just not going to talk about it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes not sometimes, I mean, most of the time you have to choose yourself.
Yeah.
You, even in relationship, for example, you know, some relationship can be very toxic. In that case, it's not good to stay, you know, in a relationship that
really hurt yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like you did the right choice.
Yeah.
Because I mean, people always have their own opinion about everything. You know, at the end of the day, what's matter it's how do you feel,
right?
You know.
And I think also a lot of the discrimination for trans people comes from very confusing places.
Yeah.
Because, like, my mom, her whole thing was like, you look weird, or like, you look like a freak. And I said, hey, you can't hate people because they look weird. You can't do that. I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. I'm like, your discrimination is based around you think it's weird.
Yeah.
And I think people need to get more mature. Sorry?
Is it because people, like we were saying at the beginning, they don't really understand what gender is?
I think that's part of it. I don't know if they don't understand.
Or is it just ignorance? Or
it's everything. It's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
I do think it's a big understanding that people don't understand what gender is, because oftentimes, like, one of the big things with talking to people about being trans is I need to know if they understand what I'm talking about at all. Because somebody was like, oh, like you had to get all those surgeries. And I'm like, I have never gone to surgery. What? I'm like, do you think I have that kind of money? No, it's like, because someone was like, oh, but how did you get these? And I'm like, because of hormones. You know, the thing that everyone has. But, or like people, like, I don't know, like people just don't understand. They don't understand, like, the actual logistics. They don't understand, I think, on a conceptual level that it's like, hey, gender, like, even if you are born as the gender that you are, you are still performing gender when you choose to do masculine things, right? And we get into, like, this, like, weird web of, like, okay, like, it's masculine to work on cars. Yeah? It's what are we talking about anymore, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of it comes from that. I think a lot of it comes from media as well. Like, especially during the AIDS crisis and everything, you know, the government, like, was very much against just gay people, and so it's just associating every negative thing with them. And I mean, we've seen it throughout history. It's like every time there is a group that they want to convince you that you should not like, it's always like, they're going to go after your children, or they're bringing down society, and then you look at it and it's just a group of people being alive.
Yeah. And I believe social media play a big role at exposing, you know, like marginalized group like trans, you know, because the regular media, like, they're not pushing to change. They like, you know, the stagnation in society.
Yeah.
But with social media, so now people have the opportunity to voice their, and
because it gives us an equal opportunity for people who don't have, I guess, a lot of especially financial means.
Exactly.
You know, just to be in these big media spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It gives them a chance to say something and have the people around them decide if what they're saying is important. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it gives people an equal ground.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I think also like looking back, before like, you know, the AIDS crisis and when like, the kind of hatred of gay people was less popularized.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there was still a lot of homophobia,
Mm-hmm.
but it looked so much different, you know, than how it does now.
Yeah.
It's less about like being like, oh, they're evil and gonna do this, and more being like, oh, you're weak for like that, right? Like if you're a gay man, you'd be like, oh, he's weak because he's, I guess, more feminine, right? And that's still homophobic, but like you see, it's like less of that like you're a villain and more of like you're wrong. Both bad, but I think the difference is interesting to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask you to share with us like a few fun facts about gender.
Fun facts about gender.
But before we do that, anything else that you want to add? Because you know that's a short conversation. We don't have a lot of time, but hopefully we will have a a second episode.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have you back.
I think that would be wonderful.
Yes.
I think anything I'd like to add. I think if I had one takeaway that I want people to have about gender is, first of all, it's not that serious. I promise you, it's not that serious. Just relax, and just let things fall how they may.
Yeah.
Express yourself, not like, oh, how would I do this if I want to be this gender? Express yourself how you want to. And if that means that you want to, like, if you're a man, you were born a man, and you're like, I want to be super masculine, that's awesome, and do that. And that is you performing your gender. But don't feel restrained by gender. Feel that gender is somewhere where you can push yourself outward. You can express yourself outward.
Mm-hmm.
It is whatever you want it to be, truly. And that's not scary. I promise.
Yeah.
Now, fun facts about gender.
That's a tough one, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Fun facts about gender. I feel like I talked about a lot of them already. I would say fun facts about gender. Non-binary, I think something to talk about a lot, is that people are oftentimes think of it as this third gender. And it can be, but it's, I mean, like from the word itself, it's non-binary. It is not in those two, which means it could be anything else. I to an extent identify with like non-binariness, right? And that's just on my own internal feelings. That's not really something I put out there a lot, mostly because I don't really care to. You know, I have a job, like I have things going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, of just like, you don't necessarily have to, even if you are non-binary, that doesn't mean that you have to like cut your hair and do all this stuff. You can like just do that.
Yeah.
And I guess that was one of the. That's a good fun fact. You can just do that.
Yeah. I really appreciate that, the fact that you share your story with us. And one of the things we try to do with that platform is to give everybody a voice where every story matter. So I really appreciate that you. So to conclude, do you feel like you have to protect yourself sometimes from?
All the time. Literally all the time. My girlfriend, she was like, you can't go anywhere without this pepper spray. And like, I mean, I have been threatened. I have had actual physical violence, pushed on me. And of course, like all the stuff with jobs, friends, stuff. Like, yeah, I am always checking my back, and it's because I have to.
That's sad.
It sucks.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
It sucks.
But like, that's why I really try to be more bright and open, because I'm like, if the world is gonna suck, then I'm not gonna be part of it that sucks.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I really like that positive attitude. Mm-hmm. So, Deya, thank you so much, and it was a pleasure to have you.
It was a pleasure to be here. I can't wait for next time.
All right.